If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you live downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Action-packed 3-hour program lined up today, of course. Busy Major League Baseball card, games in action as we speak. Games starting here momentarily. NBA and the NHL playoffs, Paulie. We have props to get into for tonight as well. NHL schedule release is later on tonight. A bunch of leaks to get into. Great guests on the program today, including Jeff Sherman, Jeff Seeley, Paul Bovey, Matt Youmans, and we'll get a ton of picks and best bets for the PGA Championship this week as well. All right, where are you at now? The Knicks and the Celtics tonight. I know you bet the Knicks to win the series when they were up 2 games to none. You thought the price was way too short at that time. And then Tatum, of course, the unfortunate news there. He, that sucks so much for them and him. Shreds the Achilles, underwent successful surgery, and now the Celtics without Jason Tatum tonight, laying 4.5 or 5. Both numbers are currently available, and that total is either 207.5 or 208 tonight, Paulie.
I didn't put enough handicap and analysis into Thibodeau against Missoula, which is huge because Boston continues to make the same mistakes, standing around, no passing, the implosions in the third quarter. That seems too high tonight with the point spread, and the Knicks know there's blood in the water. Brown's been terrible. Porzingis, while his mysterious illness has been horrendous. Holiday's been awful. Horford's old. Who can I depend on? I trust Pritchard, and I trust White. But the way that the Knicks and Brunson have gone off and what they've done in the second half, if you bet Boston, I think it only has to be first half here, knowing that the implosion's coming in the third quarter, that they've led by 14 or more in the 3 losses in the third quarter, and they spit it up and let it get away. So we'll find out what they're made of tonight. They have to be demoralized by what happened. They probably know they can't win the title now, but they can certainly think they can come back and win the series. But I don't have a lot of faith and hope in the Celtics tonight, and I think the Knicks win.
I like Celtics first quarter, first half. I think we're on opposite sides here tonight. I think I can rely on these Celtics players for at least one game without Jason Tatum to step up. I don't think they're going to come back and win the series. And obviously, I don't think they're going to come back and win the Eastern Conference because Tatum's blow will be probably too big to overcome. But here are some of the numbers overall. When you look at the team and how they have done, the other players without Tatum over the years, first of all, the team was 8-2 without him this year. Both losses came to Orlando. They are 16-3 the last 2 years without Tatum. Who steps up? Here are some numbers for you. Jaylen Brown, a 33.1% usage rate in 733 minutes without Tatum, a 4% bump when he is out. He also averaged 27 points per game in 13 games without Tatum since last year. Derek White, 769 minutes with Tatum off the floor this year, a 23.4% usage bump, or a rate, I should say, and more than 20 points per game in 14 games without Tatum the last 2 years. But again, you're paying a tax on a guy like, well, I'll say both of them right now. Now Brown's points prop is 26.5 at some books. Derek White is 18.5, so that's cooked in there for sure.
Yeah.
I did go with Peyton Pritchard tonight.
Yeah, that's and I love over 2.5 made threes.
Did you see the juice on this today?
Yeah, he was great in Game 3.
So this is out of control. People are betting him like Bryce Harper to hit a home run today against Eric Fetty, which he almost did, by the way, in his first at bat because he has 6 career home runs off him. But Pritchard's 3-point prop tonight opened up 2.5, minus 110. At last check, it's minus 175.
Yeah, and the points was 13.5, right?
I grabbed that at my late 35 cents.
Yeah, wow, that's too low to me. He's got to be the guy, and bombs away. This is what they do. They continue to jack threes, and it's going to be him and a lot of White. And I don't trust Brown from the outside, and he better not do it. He better attack the basket.
He's going to have to attack. Yep. I think he's going to have to be more of a facilitator tonight as well.
Yeah, that's true. But the Knicks have been the tougher team. The Knicks have made all the plays down the stretch and in the fourth quarter. The third quarter of Game 4 was enormous, what they did in 37 points to ride the starters like Tibbs did. Mm-hmm. Points in the paint in Game 4, 64-32. Incredible. And then that double big lineup of Robinson and Towns has continued to clean the glass also in this series. And I think the Celtics are going home. And then the question becomes, what do they do next year with what happens with Tatum? But I just think this has been wild what's happened, that on paper it was a mismatch and you keep blowing 20-point leads, much like the Cavs. But Brunson has been so good. Especially, that's what Boston doesn't do, right? Settle for threes, take ill-advised shots. Right. This guy, in a tight game, can get a good look or get to the free throw line over and over and over again. And he was so good down the stretch in Game 4. And he did that in Game 2. Holiday had the silly foul that put him to the line. He made the free throws to win the game.
Yeah, it's pretty much whenever he wants it. He can get, whatever he wants, almost whenever he wants. So more on Pritchard here. He's averaged 20-plus points per game in 18 games without Tatum over the last 2 years. And by the way, in that time, I know that Lattery and his 3 points has made three-pointers tonight will be very popular as well, hence like the 65-cent move.
Yes.
But 10.2 three-point attempts per game. That's what you're looking for again, right? You want a healthy amount of attempts. That's what he has averaged without Tatum in their last 2 years. How about Peyton? You want to get completely nuts. You love looking at these markets. How about Peyton Pritchard leads the entire game in scoring tonight?
I wanted threes. I didn't want to go that aggressive.
Okay, well, threes.
I wanted to go threes with the game leaders. That's not bad at 4-1. I like that.
Okay.
But White's going to take a bunch as well. But who? We got to see who steps up here. I mean, Cornette played the other night like 10 minutes. He didn't even grab a frickin' rebound. I mean, and what's going on with Porzingis? How bad he's been. Holiday. It's like how many guys?
Is
yeah, right.
So weird to me.
He's due $30 million next year too. Like Holiday's got $105 million left on his deal. Jaylen Brown, $285 million.
I know.
I mean, you ask the Cavs and their fans. You win all these games and you go out in the second round, that's going to sting big time.
Does this feel to you like when KD blew out the Achilles against Toronto in the finals? And that was the end of it for Golden State? Like that iteration of Golden State, which we knew at the time?
Yeah, I think Boston has to rebuild now. I really think they have to take a hard look at that. Not the only one to say it.
Well, and all that chatter, though, about them, with the new ownership and then getting rid of players anyway. But then what do you do? Because Tatum's going to be out next year, too.
Yeah, but then Tatum's new deal kicks in. So then 60% of your salary cap is on 2 guys till 2029.
Yeah.
You might have to you have to swallow hard and trade Brown. Maybe you have to do that.
So we're on the verge of 2 different 60-plus win teams going out in the second round in the East.
Yeah.
It happened in 2020 and I think 2021 back-to-back years or something like that. Milwaukee was responsible for a couple of those losses.
Well, the Cavs were the third team in history to win that many games and not even get to the second round. And then you go out in 5, and Pacers was 25-1. Yeah. It has been just a while. And I'll tell you, OKC's not out of the woods either. They are looking young, inexperienced, and fortunate that they have that lead after what happened. Now, they should have won Game 1, and I thought they should have won Game 3. But these last couple games in a war with Denver, when Denver only has essentially 3.5 guys, Porter can't shoot. Westbrook's the old Westbrook. Gordon's good, but then it's Murray and, where Joker's going to do. So if I can keep Joker and hold him in check, I should be able to win these games going away. OKC looks vulnerable and beatable. So this thing's wide open.
Denver has to be sick after last night.
Oh,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
The series probably should be 3-2 with what you just said, because the Thunder easily could have taken games 1 and then 3 as well. But last night, playing out like it did, it even at 2 apiece, and you're leading the entire way after a 14-13 deficit, and to piss it away like you did, that's agonizing, man. I don't know how those players are sleeping after last night's loss. I really don't. They gave that game away big time. Now, I'll flip it and say that
Did you see the others? In the fourth quarter, non-Joker, 1 of 15, 0 of 10 from 3.
Oh, did you also see? Yeah.
OKC, and then OKC, I think, made their last 7 shots, whatever
you can
it was.
file this one away as well. Sent over a tweet, I think it was last night. I'll go back and double check. But anytime that Joker plays the entire fourth quarter of these games, they lose every single time.
Yeah. I know, but it's damned if you do, right? Because the numbers are horrendous when he's on the bench. But you want to say at least throw Jordan out there for a couple minutes or get him a blow, but it's just no help for the big guy. And OKC has the best record since 1998 when down double digits. They're 20-10 when down double digits.
That's crazy.
Playoffs and regular season.
Here's the tweet. The Nuggets have now lost 3 of the last 4 postseason games where Joker has now rested in the fourth quarter, despite leading in all but one of those games entering the fourth quarter, and they lost those quarters by an average of 10.8 points per game. I get it. I mean, because you pull them out, then what's going to happen? The other team goes on an 8-0 run in about 90 seconds? Mm-hmm. Usually, that's going to take place.
This had to even out, though, too, because they won their first 4 coin flip games of the playoffs. All those games, Game 1 against the Clippers, Game 4 against the Clippers, went their way, and Game 1 against OKC in Game 3 against OKC. Found a way to win, made all the plays, and now it's kind of evened out, and they've lost the last two after they thought they had them.
I do think OKC was absolutely phenomenal in the fourth quarter, though. I mean, Lou Dort saved their season like 6 times last night in the fourth quarter, and then SGA played out of his mind for the final couple of minutes as well.
Yep.
Anything on the other game? It's down to the Wolves now down to 10.5.
I like the Warriors.
Touched 11.5. I did, yeah.
Right
same.
back with your guy Kuminga, points prop over 2. Wolves better get this one. I think they win. I don't think they cover.
That's a huge
but
number.
This is what we talked about now for the last week. Game 6 would be Sunday. Curry's going through workouts. He's not going to play, but they're going to reevaluate him Saturday if they win. And then he could come back Sunday night in the Bay. And then we could have a series. So you got to get this one if you're Minnesota. But I don't think they're going to blow him out. And I think Kuminga will have a good game, and I think we'll see a little bit aggressive Jimmy. I don't know what that was in the last game. But I think Butler will take a lot of shots, and I think this could be a close game into the fourth quarter.
Did Butler just decide to take the other night off and not tell anybody about it?
That was weird,
Did
right?
he just make that decision before
passive.
tip time?
I know. It was like the game when he went back to Miami. And it was all about Butler props, and he's going to stick it to him. And he didn't shoot the ball the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
But the way Kuminga's shooting and how many touches he's getting, he can't be 18.5. Got to go with Kuminga over. I know I saw. I echo your sentiments. I love aggressive Ant.
Well,
that Ant Edwards that came out in the third quarter. If he plays like that, they can beat OKC.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you can say this about any team probably remaining in the playoffs. You can pick and choose like a quarter or a moment in time where they're like, oh, that's their A game. But if the Timberwolves could bottle that up, that third quarter up against the Warriors from the other night, they're going to win the entire thing. They're unbeatable when they play like that, but you don't get that like every single game from them.
Right. And the good Randall. And the aggressive Ant. Going to get it done.
Up next, props to get into. Will Aaron Judge bat .400 for the season? Has been getting a lot of attention, but there's another season-long prop with him I like much more than that. I'll tell you what it is coming up next here on VSiN.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
With some NBA playoffs, PGA, maybe a little week one, NFL as well. Jeff Sherman joins the program now, VP of Risk Management over at the Westgate Superbook, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Jeff, good afternoon. Thanks for the time as always. How are you?
Doing great. How's it going, guys?
Doing well.
Good, man.
Well. I'll ask you this to begin with. In the NBA playoffs, based on like the power ratings overall throughout the entire year, and just how good the Cavaliers, the Thunder, and the Celtics were in the respective conferences, did you have any like built-in liability at all now that we're this deep into the season on a team like the Pacers, the Knicks, or the Timberwolves?
Well, in the conference, we're sitting great on everybody except for Denver. So we're good on all the other teams. For the title odds, our best scenario is the Thunder because their odds were so short. So even though we got some wagers on them, they're really our best position. Our worst position is Minnesota. And early in the season, actually before the year started, we took, I know, a 10-dime wager at 10-1 on them. And they reached as high as 100-1 during the season.
Wow.
So that bet didn't have any value during the season, but at this point, it's a different story. So I know we have some, small pluses, some small minuses with some of the other remaining teams.
How high did you get on the Pacers?
They were as high as 100-1 during the season, too. They fluctuated between 100 and 125.
Okay.
And did anybody grab that number?
We had some small tickets on it, sure. And, we got some late money on Indiana when they're 40, 50-1 range when things started getting better for them. But there were some believers at that point. So, but just what they did last year, reaching the conference finals, they've been steady throughout the season, especially when they've reached triple digits about people supporting them.
It was an interesting. It's been an interesting journey for the Knicks. who I'm sure took a lot of money after they made the trade and they're a popular team. But then they went 0-10 against the best 3 teams in the league, though, and they got their asses kicked in most of them. How high did you get on the Knicks?
Yeah, the Knicks were crazy because, like you said, when they made the trade, we made the adjustment, and then we saw some large wagers on them at 10 and 9 to 1, and they reached as low as 8. And then as things transpired during the second half of the season, they reached as high as 35 to 1 and sat there for a little while, and even at the start of the playoffs. So you had the opportunity at 35 on them, and now they're sitting at 5 under the current circumstances.
Do you like anything tonight? Like this, that game against the Celtics is a fascinating handicap and a deep dive, factoring in obviously the Jason Tatum injury.
Yeah, the only thing I like a little bit is Boston in the first quarter, and I don't know if they can sustain everything against the Knicks for the full game, but I think they're going to get their best effort right away, and that's the only lean I have right now.
That's kind of where I'm at with the game as well. I think first quarter, maybe first half as well. Would you do that one or just the first quarter?
If I do something that looks like either -2 or 2.5 for the first quarter, I'm not going to get involved with the half.
Okay. What would you make the series price on Oklahoma City and Minnesota if we get that in the West?
We were throwing that around, and we'd have just slightly over $3, like probably in the $3.30 range.
Oh,
Oak City.
Too high, Jeff.
So, well, it's the math of the point spreads. So you put those into play, and that's what it comes out to. And it would have been much higher just a week or two ago.
Yeah.
We were throwing around like over $4 on it, but like you said, with what we've seen lately, it's relaxed a little bit.
Well, they certainly have issues and are showing their youth and inexperience here. And it's like giving away games and problem scoring. And how many guys can you count on other than SGA? To be down 12 late in the third quarter in a Game 5 got-to-have-it game. Not good. Yeah, no, it's they're definitely showing some youth to them. But, what we saw in the regular season, they had an all-time defensive rating. Yes.
So, they're still a team that can put things together. And we've seen quite a few blowouts on their end, too, positively.
What do you make Pacers-Knicks then in the East?
We all arrived at about $1.40 on the Knicks, so it'd be a very tight series there. And we know that Indiana won last year, but New York was really beat up health-wise last year during that series. So this time around, we're looking at about $1.40 on New York.
I think I might be grabbing a little bit of the Pacers at that point.
Yeah,
they're awesome right now. That was not a fluke what they did to Cleveland, Jeff. Obviously.
No, and we've seen this team for a couple years now, and well coached, and they've got everyone fitting into their nice roles, and solid outfits. So it should be a tightly contested series.
Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Jeff Sherman, he is VP of Risk Management over at the Westgate Superbook, also in charge of all the golf numbers over there. What are you seeing in terms of sharp money for the PGA Championship as this event gets underway now tomorrow?
We've seen a lot of sharp support on Xander Schauffele in the matchups. I opened Justin Thomas a small favorite against Xander, and we took a couple sharp bets onto the Xander side, and now he's $1.30 against Thomas. And it looks like in the outrights, too, anytime you go over 20 to 1, you'd see some support for Xander there. And we actually have a prop up with Scheffler, McIlroy, DeChambeau, and Justin Thomas against the field.
Yeah.
And we saw some sharp play plus 130 on the 4 golfers against the field.
Okay, so where's that number currently sitting then?
We're at plus 110 on the 4 golfers, minus 130 on everyone else.
All right. And weather's supposed to be a factor. How about lowest completed round, 63.5?
Yeah, we just got some sharp money on the under of that. And, the winning scores had some fluctuation, too. We opened that 13.5 under at 270.5, got bet over on that. So we went to 12.5 under par. And, Justin Thomas won this in 2017 at 8 under par. It was played in August at the time, so a little bit different time of year. But we expect it to be lower scoring than that, just based on the weather, how the course is going to play long and soft for a little bit.
Any other matchups or props that have been attractive to people who you respect?
Well, actually, I put up one matchup that with some club pros, Eric Steger against Michael Block, and we've seen some interest on Eric Steger in that one. So there's something different there.
Fading Michael Block, evidently, from last year?
Yeah, a few years ago, he finished 15th at the PGA Championship. So he made a name and got some exemptions into some PGA Tour tournaments. So thought that might be interesting.
If you had to make a bet right now based on where the numbers are at, is there a guy that really kind of jumps off the board still that you would say, yeah, you know what, that's good enough for me to make a bet on?
Well, I'm on Justin Thomas at 24-1, and you can still find him slightly over 20. And I think that's a good number the way that he's been playing. He finally cracked through with his win at the RBC Heritage after coming so close the last few months. And having won here, like I mentioned, 2017, he's got 2 PGA Championship wins. You know, if he can just put it together for the 4 rounds, which he's starting to do now, I think that's a nice price relative to some of the other golfers around him. A couple more that I like, longer shots, Corey Connors, Daniel Berger. I played them at 80 and 110-1 in that range, and they're still 50 and 80-1. But I think those guys, the way they've played this season so far, can be real threats.
Last golf one for you, Jeff. You came on the day before the Masters and said, take a peek at Justin Rose, first-round leader, 66-1. I know many people listening to the show at that time grabbed that. Do you have anything maybe this time around for the PGA Championship and first-round leader?
No, I mean, this tournament has got such a deep field in it. It's the strength of the field. And it's, you know, everyone's priced so close together with this one, much more of a crapshoot. You know, Augusta's only got 90 golfers. You can toss so many out. You look at course history. There's a lot more trends going to that one than I see in this. First round leader, I'm not involved in anything with that.
Thank you, my friend. I'll let you go work on the NFL Week 1 numbers. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's where we're heading today. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jeff.
Here's what they put up. Friday night in Brazil, Chiefs 2.5 against the Chargers.
2.5, huh?
The first Sunday night game, the Bills are 1.5 against the Ravens. 53.5.
Yeah.
And the first Monday night game, boy, more Bears. Bears 1.5 against the Vikings.
Are we going to get a doubleheader on Monday night to begin, or is that the only one?
But they did 3 last year, right? But it was not week 1.
Right.
It was like a week 2, or did they do 4? They do 4 of them, I think.
Well, I'm not surprised
I think they stopped at week 1.
Yeah, Chicago, we're going to be inundated with Chicago Bears primetime games. And Jeff
I'm even surprised by how many, though. There's a ton of them.
Well, we might have 6. I thought there was a mandate that the league cannot schedule a team in primetime more than like 6 times in any given year. Maybe they've changed that. I don't know. But the other one is, do the Chiefs have like 6 primetime games in the first 2 months of the year? First 8 weeks, something like that?
There was something on X about that, yeah. I hope that's not true.
And then they're playing Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Yeah. That will set records.
The Cowboys game?
Chiefs-Cowboys
100%
on Thanksgiving?
If that's a good game, that will that'll set the all-time record for a game on Thanksgiving Day. Yep.
Absolutely. Bet the Preakness with First Bet and get rewarded. New customers use promo code VSIN200. Get a 20% rebate on all your wages for the first 60 days, up to $200. Win or lose, you get paid back. Download the app, firstbet.com, promo code VSIN200. It's that easy. Get started today, firstbet.com. 6-2 Diamondbacks. 4-0 Twins in the third.
They're not going to lose, man.
Won't stop, yeah.
So if they win this game, that winning streak will be, 10 games, I believe? They lost their first 2 games in May.
Yeah, that's a good race. What's going on with that?
Yeah, it's a little bit too good.
Yeah, I got Detroit 9, Minnesota 9, KC 9, St. Louis 9.
9, right.
I want to double-check my work, yeah.
All right, win-lose up next. We'll expand on the NFL schedule leaks as we know it as of right now with point spreads and totals on the games as well. And a team is scheduled to do this for the first time in the history of the league.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSIN.
Welcome aboard. We are live downtown Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Starting this hour off, trying to get you yet another winner on the PGA with a championship beginning tomorrow. As Jeff Seeley joins the program, you can follow him on X. He is at Cutmaker Jeff. The Cutmaker podcast is up now on Spotify, and he is on the Progressive Guest line. Man, you've been on a hell of a heater in 2025. You did it again with Sepp Straka over the weekend. That's at least 4 outrights, plus you had a big number on Daniel Berger to finish top 20. And that run started, what was it, like middle of February, late February when this run started for you?
Yep. So yeah, it's been crazy. So over the last 80 days or so, it's been a great run. So looking forward to keep it going this week, guys. This is again obviously a major. There's a lot of options, so a lot of stuff to cover today.
All right, so it's a super long course, 7,600 plus yards overall. Plus the story early in the week was the rain, and it was a downpour. Based on players' videos and all the forecasts that you were watching out of Quail Hollow, where are we standing with the updated forecast, and what do you think that does in terms of impacting players who you want to bet on in the field?
Yeah, guys. Obviously, the heavy rain. You're going to have a soft course traditionally. You're going to have obviously wet fairways and bunkers. It'll dry out eventually, but ultimately it's going to be a factor, I think, and especially with the rough. The rough was last cut on Sunday. So it's expected before the tournament's over that the rough's going to grow at least 4 inches by the end of the week, which is insane. So I think it's going to be very, very difficult in the rough, a little harder than we're used to seeing in a PGA Championship, more like U.S. Open conditions. And so I think I'm weighting driving distance a little bit more than I might have otherwise, simply because of the conditions.
Okay, and then how important is it that Rory has done so well here, in your opinion, that he's won 4 times?
I mean, guys, it's phenomenal. Obviously, look, you've got an all-time great golfer in maybe the best form he's ever been in at a course that he is extremely comfortable at. Frankly, I'm not sure how he's not the favorite. And so, when I look at the top of the board, I want to bet Rory and I want to bet Bryson. But for me, you guys know this, it's just about getting creative and finding the best ways to do that. And for me, it's just parlaying with other things I like. We've talked about this on the show a lot. And so, when I look at the top of the board, I've parlayed Rory with the Pacers in their series against the Knicks. I've done the same thing with Bryson. I've done a few where I've thrown in some Indiana Fever futures. So I think if you like those guys at the top of the board, I think the way to play it is to parlay it with another series bet or game or two that you like to really boost up that number. Even some heavy favorites you can play in and get that Rory number in the double digits. I think that's the strategy I'm employing this week.
Well, the Bryson love is, absolutely off the charts, because I saw a book go to shorter than 8-1 on him earlier this week. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I agree with that. But by the same token, I absolutely expect him to be in contention. And you understand it with Rory because of the course history and the form. But I think Bryson's going to be right there. So I think those guys clearly are. Scotty's obviously in the conversation, but for the price, I think those guys are definitely the top 2. And I'm going to be heavily involved in those guys in a lot of parlays.
This is atypical, Jeff. You don't go down this path very often, right? Where you're plucking guys off the very top of the odds board.
I know.
All right, let's go down. Let's work our way down the board a little bit then and get into mid-range if you want to, maybe 50-1, something like that. Who you like?
Yeah. Guys, I could not believe my eyes. I ran a bunch of models this week, and Jordan Spieth kept popping up, and in my main model, he's number 5 behind Rory, Scotty, JT, and Bryson. You can find him north of 50-1. I've seen as high as 70-1 some places out there on Spieth. And the narrative's there. He needs this to complete his career Grand Slam, just like Rory did at the Masters. And we all know this. Spieth is such a freaking enigma. You can say he's Spiething out there. That's a thing you hear. He can get up and down from anywhere. Sometimes his irons are awful. Sometimes they're amazing. But the important thing here is his putter has been really good. He's gained with the putter in 6 straight, and he's driving the ball really, really well. Gained off the tee in 9 of his last 10 events. So I think with that, he has to be in the conversation with this week. 4th at the CJ Cup, 14th at the Masters, 12th at Valero, 9th at the Cognizant, 4th at the Waste Management. He's getting close. And if Jordan Spieth could somehow win this tournament, we're not going to see 50-1 Spieth for a long time again. I think he's finding that form again. This is a great price. I love him at a top 10, top 20, and I did bet him some outright at 50-1. So I am in on Jordan Spieth this week. I bet him a matchup against Hovland too. I know a lot of people like Hovland. I prefer Spieth. So I'm going for the ride this week. I expect it to be dramatic, but I'm definitely in on Jordan Spieth.
All right, so it's a new Jeff Seeley, a little chalky, and also is Koepka dead to you? 7 straight majors. He hasn't finished top 15.
Yeah, I can't bet Koepka this week, and I can't believe this is the first major since I can remember that I haven't bet him. And it almost feels, I almost have some relief not betting him this week. I saw that Westgate has a matchup on Oberg against Koepka. I like that, frankly. I'm going to look to play against him in matchups. I saw a Sepp Straka matchup against him. I obviously like that. The main guys I'm fading this week in matchups are, I'm going to fade Koepka, and I am all in on fading DJ in matchups. I bet Patrick Reed against DJ, and I bet Ben On in a matchup against DJ. So any good DJ matchups I can find, I'm going to be fading those as well, because you talk about a guy who just doesn't care. DJ is certainly in that spot.
By the way, Patrick Reed is kind of a popular guy this week, like in the outright market, from what I see.
Yeah, he has solid course history here, so that makes sense. And you got to putt well here. And there's one thing that Fat Pat does is putt really well. So I can understand some of the Reed love.
Let's go bombs away. Keith Mitchell has been the first round leader story of the tour now for more than a month. I mean, it's crazy what he does in the first round. Are you betting him to be the first round leader? And what else would you like to attack the board with here with Keith Mitchell?
You bet I did. And what's funny is his price is 130 to 1, but his first round leader is only 60. What does that tell you, right? Like, I mean, I'm in on Keith Mitchell. He came in 6th in my model right behind Spieth. And again, I love the first round leader play on him. I'm going to have some top 20 on him along with that first round leader. So I do like him a lot. Guys, Bud Cauley comes in right behind Mitchell. Another guy I bet top 20. All he's been doing lately is just making birdies and putting really well. Comes in 9th in birdies or better and 18th in putting. Amazing form. Top 6 or better in 3 of his last 4 events. So I like, but he's 250 to 1. He's probably not going to win, but another great top 20, top 10 option. And guys, I love my guy Jake Knapp. He's 300 to 1. I parlayed him a few different ways with the pace. I did a Knapp top 20 with the Pacers money line last night. Love Jake Knapp top 20. Do not be surprised at all if he makes a run this weekend. I'm a big fan of Jake Knapp, and I think that he's going to perform well. And all 3 of those guys have some bombs. Big fans. I think you could do a lot worse and play those guys top 20.
What about some props? This is great because, specifically for the majors, books will put up a ton of these different props as well. They do it for the Masters. They're going to come back and do it with the PGA. Nationality props or anything else that really caught your attention?
Yeah, guys, USA to win is minus 125. I did some math, and I give USA about 55% win equity here in this tournament. So I like that bet. I think if Rory doesn't win, I think it's very likely that an American does. I do like Minwoo Lee this week, and I was trying to figure out the best way to play him. And I think the best way to play him is top Oceania player at plus 330 and top rest of the world player at 12 to 1. So do like Minwoo Lee there. And then I did a make the cut parlay with Bud Cauley, your boy Jaeger, Sam Burns, Max Greiserman, Knapp, Spieth, and Mitchell, all to make the cut. And that paid 30 to 1. So that's worth some pizza money for a fun make the cut play.
Very good. Love it. So you brought up Greiserman then. How else are you attacking his numbers?
I'm laddering him this week. I'm laddering him from top 40 all the way up the board. Great driver, great putter, below average iron player. So a really good opportunity should be a good course fit for him. Went to Duke. Obviously, his experience playing in North Carolina. I like Max Greiserman a lot this week, and he's a guy that I think will be slept on by a lot of people, but definitely worth a look. All
right, buddy. So the number one golfer that you're drawing a line through this week, fading as much as possible, is Dustin Johnson?
Dustin, absolutely, without a doubt.
And then Koepka's on the list as well.
Koepka's on the list, unfortunately. I hate to say it, which means he'll probably win.
Yeah. All right. There you go, pal. Let's knock him dead again this week. Thank you for the time. Go get him.
Thanks, fellas. Take care.
There you go. Cutmaker Podcast is out. You can follow him on X at Cutmaker Jeff. He was on the Progressive Guest Line. Do you have many bets at all on the PGA?
Nope. I'll do something in play.
I added.
I mean, this is ridiculous. Rory 5 to 1.
No, I know.
Scheffler is. You're right about the DeChambeau.
Oh, come on! I saw like plus 785. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Maybe he wins, but you can't bet that number.
Well, I mean, it's like what Jeff said. Sherman with that prop they have over there with the big four, and the no is only minus 130.
Think about that
against the big four.
Yeah, I did. I took a little bit. I'm going to hate myself. Probably by tomorrow mid morning. Victor Hovland at 50 to 1. Just at that number.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
I got to try that, yeah.
You're going to bet him?
Yeah.
But you know what's going to happen.
I know. It's a roller coaster.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I'm looking for the hole in one. I thought it was a big number. I'll look for that during the break. Someone's going to pull that off. That's not bad. Was there another guy I was looking at? Is it yes, plus 130? Okay, thank you. Before the line moves, the Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com already there. They don't chase the market, they move it. You're not going to out-muscle billion-dollar sports books or full-time pro bettors on your own, but with the Sharp Plays, you don't have to. Powered by cutting-edge AI and trusted insider sources, the Sharp Play delivers the edge that serious bettors rely on. You'll get free betting reports, real-time alerts, and market-moving insights, all delivered right to you via email or X. This isn't some overnight startup. They have a documented track record going back to 2011. Receipts, logs, results right there on the site. Respected watch and fear. That's the Sharp Plays. Check them out now, sharpplays.com. I talked to Jeff today from Sharp Plays about all his years in the business offshore. Does anything compare to what happened? Both sides won now with the Celtic story, remember? With the widow?
Up by okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Remember cashing out the futures in Massachusetts
that's right.
with DK?
That's right.
Didn't want to let it ride. And
I thought you meant books that offer you're an automatic winner when you bet them and they get up by 20 plus.
Yeah. There's a couple books that offer that.
Yeah. All right. So on that note, we'll get into the playoffs coming up. We'll give you several players to look at in the Celtics game as Jason Tatum is out.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, we head out here to the Progressive Guest Line. We go back east to the Big Apple. Professional sports bettor Paul Bovey on the program. You were sitting next to us last week in studio. Boy, I want to say that you were actually cocky that you were so confident in the Knicks. And here you go, buddy. They have a 3-1 commanding series lead now going up against the Celtics tonight. How you feeling?
I feel good, but I never celebrate when my horse is rounding the far turn. We've gambled a long time, and we know better than to celebrate prematurely. So I'm going to sit back and hope that we close this out tonight, and if not, on Friday.
And if that's the case, now you're going to have great news, and everything's coming up roses in your world, because Game 3 was the most expensive ticket in Knicks history. Now imagine what the get-in price would be for Game 6, or for the first time since 2000, you go on to the conference finals, and you would have home court there. And if OKC stubs their toe, you got home court throughout. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's incredible, but you want to be there. I mean, this is, Paul, you pointed it out last week. It's been a long time. I've been hemorrhaging money, but you want to gain the experience, because you'll look back. You don't need the $1,700 or $2,500. What you need is to be there. And I was there for a lot of that in the 90s. But as I commented last week, we didn't get over the hump, but I saw a lot of great basketball and have wonderful memories. So I'll choose to go to the game and maybe sell one or two here and there, but got to get the experience.
Okay,
Well
so you went to the game, then you have 3 tickets overall, and you've had season tickets since when? Was it the late 80s when you got them?
Yeah, it was 1988, and
Okay.
I took on a partner a few years ago, and I whittled my seats down, because originally I think I mentioned I had as many as 8, but now we're down to 3, but the location is excellent, so we really have a great perspective of the game. We're about 15 rows up, and we really enjoy it. So I try to get to as many games as I can. I don't get to many in New York, but I do get to some on the road. I was in Detroit for one of those games. It was phenomenal. I did see a Knick game in Cleveland during the regular season. So I try to take in as much as I can.
Well, can you do a better job vetting the fan that's going to buy the ticket maybe for Game 6? Because you have 3 tickets now. You went with the partner to Game 4, but you sold the other ticket to a Celtics fan. What the hell's that about?
Listen, we don't pick and choose. These buyers are anonymous. So this guy buys the ticket, and this guy's sitting next to us. All right, he's going to be a Knick fan. He'll be rooting. Next thing I know, in the first quarter, he's yipping and yaying. I'm sitting back and I'm getting frustrated. And I just walk around the arena. I mean, I literally walked that arena about 8 times because once it starts going downhill, I just make my way out. And I make sure to go out different sides so I don't annoy the people repeatedly. But, it's betting basketball. And I had a large bet on the game the other night. And, Paulie, I sent you the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
It was well into 5 figures. So I get frustrated. There's a lot of ebbs and flows. Basketball betting will drive you crazy.
Yeah.
So
well said. And you got a great number, too. And I'm sure you used that to your advantage when you walked around. You probably made a move on Cardi B, who was at the game. So maybe that can work out for you. How do you see the game tonight, then? And you were big on OG props and defensively and what you said as well before the start. Walk us through what you think tonight from props and how it'll play out.
So the only prop that I played is on the Celtics side, and I'll tell you why I played it. Kristaps Porzingis, 6 games in the lineup when Jason Tatum was out, and he scored 19, 25, 26, 27, 30, and 34. Okay? And I got him at 13.5 and 14. Now, I don't ask why, is what I'm trying to say. I only look at the result, and the result says he scores. So to me, it was a bargain number. Now, as far as the game goes, I have an investment to protect, because if you remember, I was on the show and I said I wanted to bet the Knicks plus the 2.5 games, and somehow I was in a hurry. I had a lot of things going on, so I saw over 5.5, thinking, well, how could the Celtics not win 2 games here? So now I'm in a position where I have to protect that, and I may take a little bit on the Knicks here, just so I don't go down on that position. And I'm in decent shape, but I wish I had the Knicks plus 2.5 instead of what I have. But I'll be rooting for the Knicks, and because I do have futures, as I mentioned on the break, and they're lucrative. I didn't get the best numbers on them. As far as the conference, I'm plus 450, plus 475, and on average for the championship, around 10-1. So it wasn't the best number. They opened up about 14, 15, 16, and they immediately went down as they made these acquisitions, and they went as low as 7. I actually saw 7 to win the championship in Vegas at max, but I'm sitting with a decent number.
How did you remain confident as a fan and as with your future tickets, considering they went 0-10 against Cleveland, Boston, and OKC and got drubbed on average by 16 a game in those meetings?
Well, as I mentioned last week, I think there were reasons behind those losses to the Celtics, and I pointed them out. And I'll point out that in Game 3, when everybody and all the experts anointed the Celtics Eastern Conference champions and the line ratcheted up from the Knicks basically and the Celtics being even in the series after 2 games to the Celtics minus 300, Boston goes 20 of 40 from 3-point land, and the Knicks go 5 of 25. We pointed out variance. The Celtics shoot 48 3-pointers a game. Next up is the Warriors at 42.4. If they shoot that, they're going to win, and they won. They had a hot shooting night. But all in all, the Knicks, even though they were at a deficit in Game 4, from the 3-point line, they outscored them in the paint. They got what they wanted, 64-32. And frankly, that's more reliable than shooting 3-pointers.
Very good. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Paul Bovey, professional sports bettor. He is on the Progressive Guest Line. You mentioned earlier that you're going to go to war tonight with Porzingis. Numbers don't lie. Had great numbers when Tatum did not play. I'm looking at the screen right now. He's 14.5. And you can grab some plus money to the over. And I know you said you got like 13.5, 14.5. So to me, that would still be worth a bet to you then, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I laid money on the 13.5 and took 14.
Okay.
Just makes sense.
Yeah, no, I like it as well. The guy, and I thought about that earlier today. I have not pulled the trigger on Porzingis yet. I did it with Pritchard. Did you give him a look at all? Yeah. If you go back in 18 games without Tatum the last 2 years, he's taken more than 10 threes per game, and he's averaged more than 20 points per game as well.
That makes a lot of sense as well. Maybe I'll stick my toe in the water, Mitch.
Okay. Are you going to be sane tonight watching the game?
I'll be fine. I mean, I have something in my hip pocket here. And my hip pocket has game 6, just in case we lose this one tonight. So it's not as though we're on the cusp of elimination, which was the case when I was at game 7 for Indiana last year.
Oh.
Who we will take care of if we were to move on.
No,
we
again,
will take
you
care
will
of
not
the
win
Pacers.
that series.
Hey, Mitch.
No. Paul, I
What's
love
that?
it. Indiana will win that series.
Paulie, I heard you yesterday. I almost had to tune you out when I heard this, and I wanted to get a hold of Mike Palm also.
Yeah?
They're not going to win that series. The Knicks will win this series, and I'll give you every reason why.
Go ahead.
Right. Well, no, when they play, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. You want to do it right now?
I'll do it right now.
Okay.
First of all, last year, the Knicks were 2-0 with Anunoby in the lineup. Alex Burke, Precious Achiuwa combined for 4 minutes and then 29 minutes. By the time the series ended, over the last 5, 48 minutes combined. And then you go to Miles McBride, who went 11 and 20, and he averaged 36 minutes. Now, these are bench players. Indiana is the exact same team. The Knicks are a different team. OG came in for game 7, hit a 3-pointer, had to go out after 5 minutes. But if you look at this year, the Knicks 110 of 179 inside the arc, and they're outscoring Indiana in the paint 186 to 166. They have a better defense. They're more reliable in terms of scoring, and they have home court advantage. Indiana will not win a game 7 in New York in Madison Square Garden. No how, no way. So I like the Knicks. They will move on. They will beat Indiana. Indiana can be soft inside, and the Knicks will take advantage of that.
All right, very good. Nice job there in like 90 seconds. Life advice, take a date to game 6 if in fact we get one. All right, buddy.
We'll have some fun.
Okay. Enjoy. Good luck tonight.
Thank
Thanks.
you, sir.
There you go. Paul Bovey. First date, by the way.
First
the
date.
game.
First date, yes.
We should be staring at a major rebuild, and now is the time to trade the star player. Do you concur? Is next.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.